Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to jump into a quick draft of Bloomburrow. Bloomburrow Flashback Quick Draft is currently on Arena, and I certainly enjoyed that format a fair amount, so I'm thrilled to see it back. Although we are definitely going to also jump into some more Foundations and some Pioneer Masters Limited as well. But anyway, let's enter the event and we'll see what we open. Okay. Sunspine Lynx is basically a vanilla 5/4. There aren't that many non-basic lands that you're interested in playing in Bloomburrow Limited. The preventing life gain can be relevant, for example, against cards like Waxway Witness, or more importantly, the Life Creed duo, the Bird Bat in white that gains life whenever creatures you control enter. There's no fog effect, so damage not being able to be prevented isn't relevant. And red isn't one of the stronger colors in the format. The stronger colors are the Abzan colors, so black, green, and white. So with that in mind, let's look at some of our uncommons. Lilypad Village, not really what you want to be doing in blue anyway, and blue is, if not the weakest color, then certainly down there. Blue-red is the weakest color pair. Seedglaive Mentor isn't even great in the mouse deck, red-white. So I'm liking either Fell or Bushy Bodyguard as our first pick. And then none of the commons are exciting enough to take over one of these two. And Fell, it is sorcery speed, so a bit of a downside, but it can destroy any target for 2 mana. Bushy Bodyguard, you do have to build around a little, so maybe not something you want to pick first. Or you can pick it first and try to build around it, or get into green-black food and then take Bushy Bodyguards highly. I think I like Fell a bit better than Bushy Bodyguard here. Alright. Splashing, not really something you want to be doing in Bloomburrow Limited. Certainly not for a card like Balin. I think the best card to splash is Glarb, so we'll ignore Balin. Jolly Gerbils is an interesting build around, but I don't know if I take it over something like Galewind Moose. Starlit Soothsayer is not a great follow-up to Fell, so I don't think I take it even though it keeps me in black. I would probably rather take either Galewind Moose or Intrepid Rabbit, and either of those would be fine. Intrepid Rabbit is probably white's best common, although as I recall on 17 lands, the common with the highest games in hand win rate for white was Carrot Cake, but I would still say that Intrepid Rabbit is better. Star Charter could be fine, but I think Galewind Moose is just that much better. It's also a 6/6, which is quite big for this set. And flash can be relevant. It means you can flash in and surprise block a creature. And the Galewind Moose has reach, so you can block all those bats and birds flying around. It also has vigilance. So I think Galewind Moose gets the nod for all of the keywords and its size. Alright. I could take Intrepid Rabbit here. Scales of Shale is actually decent even if you don't have a lot of lizards. And I already passed an Intrepid Rabbit, so I might be putting one of the bots into white. Corpseberry Cultivator is fine if you're already in a food deck. Rabid Gnaw is one of red's better uncommons, and that would go well with the Galewind Moose. Mabel's Metal, that's fine for red-white mice. I'm not sure if I take it over Certainly not taking it over a Rabid Gnaw, and I don't think I take it over an Intrepid Rabbit if I'm going into white. So this is a bit of a tough pick. Fell is strong enough that Scales of Shale would be worth taking, and Scales of Shale is, even if you don't get much of a discount for controlling lizards, a pretty strong combat trick. Intrepid Rabbit is pretty good, and Rabid Gnaw. Tough pick. Tough pick. Green-red is not one of the strongest archetypes in Bloomburrow Limited, although Rabid Gnaw and Galewind Moose would be a pretty good start. And then if we can pick up any Wandertail Mentors, we'd be pretty happy. I think Rabid Gnaw is good enough to take here over Intrepid Rabbit or Scales of Shale. Alright. Pawn Prophet, because of its mana cost, is basically, even though it's a hybrid card, it's basically a blue-green gold card. But if you're in blue-green, you want all the Pawn Prophets you can get. Thornplate Intimidator, not very exciting. I think I like Flame Cash Gecko. Not sure I want to take a red card, but Flame Cash Gecko is good. And maybe we end up in black-red lizards, which is fine. Another Rabid Gnaw. Although Nocturnal Hunger is also good. And unlike Rabid Gnaw, it doesn't have the risk of getting blown out by an opposing removal spell. Teapot Slinger is fine, but I think it's Rabid Gnaw or Nocturnal Hunger. Nocturnal Hunger lets me continue to be able to take black, and I think I like it better enough than Rabid Gnaw, so we'll take that here. Okay. Life Creed Duo, if I take in the Intrepid Rabbits, I would definitely take Life Creed Duo here. Thornplate Intimidator is just a little too slow, I think. Teapot Slinger could be fine. It gives some reach. Raccoon Rallier is basically a secret red-white Boros Gold card because you can use it to trigger your Valiant abilities on your mice. I could consider it as a 2-drop, but I think Teapot Slinger is better if we're taking a red card here. Okay. Fireglass Mentor is pretty good. I think it's better than Sinister Monolith. Sinister Monolith is one of those cards that really isn't very good, but you always seem to lose to it. So Scales of Shale would have been a pretty good choice now that we're looking at picking up another lizard. But I think Rabid Gnaw is still fine in black-red. Although it's looking increasingly likely that we're not playing Galewind Moose here. Frilled Spark Shooter, a little small ball if you can't enable its ability. I think I like it better than Psychic Whorl, and it's also a lizard for future Scales of Shale. Alright, another Frilled Spark Shooter. There are also 4-drops to go with Teapot Slinger. And in fact, you have a Teapot Slinger in play and cast Frilled Spark Shooter, then the Teapot Slinger triggers and the Spark Shooter enters with a +1/+1 counter. If I take in the Bushy Bodyguard, I think I would take Bumbleflower Sharepot here. It's kind of clunky removal, and I already have Fell, Rabid Gnaw, and Nocturnal Hunger. Alright. I have Rabid Gnaw to trigger Whisker Quill Scribe. I'm nowhere close to enabling Starlit Soothsayer, so I think we take the 2-drop creature here. And then Steampath Charger. Roughshod Duo is fine. That could be the pick here. Although I think I like Steam Path Charger a bit better. And then I don't know how many of these frilled spark shooters I'm going to play. 2 seems like more than enough. You kind of want like 1 maybe. But I think I'm taking it over Tempest Angler. I do have some spells to enable it, but not a very high density of non-creature spells. I'm more reliably likely to be able to enable Frilled Spark Shooter than Tempest Angler. Conduct Electricity. Last pick red card. It's clunky removal. The infamous Cruel Claw. If I were in green with Bushy Bodyguard, then Head of the Homestead would be the pick. I would also take this if I'd taken Intrepid Rabbits. Kindle Spark Duo, you would think would be the perfect fit in the Lizard deck, but it actually isn't very good anywhere. Ravine Raider is a fine 1-drop in Lizards, but I think the infamous Cruel Claw is just better than Ravine Raider. Alright. Sunspine Lynx is fine, but it's a tough call between Thoughtstalker Warlock and Take Out the Trash. I have 1 raccoon for Take Out the Trash. Having a raccoon in play when you take out the trash is really strong, but either of these would be a good pick here. Daggerfang Duo would be fine with Bushy Bodyguard, although I'd be more likely going into green-white. I think we take the Thoughtstalker Warlock here, because I already have some removal. Unfortunately, Take Out the Trash not likely to come back. Order's Overflow is pretty slow, but the alternatives, I mean, I've already got 3 Frilled Spark Shooters, and do I really want a 4th? Vineroot Mentor is excellent, but we're obviously pretty far from that. There's Carrot Cake, if I had taken Head of the Homestead, although there's Intrepid Rabbit as well, so we could have been white, and things would have been looking pretty good. Order's Overflow just isn't very strong. It doesn't do anything to impact the board when you play it, and it's slow. But Starlit Soothsayer is a vanilla 2/2 in our deck, and I don't want 4 Frilled Spark Shooters, so we'll take it here. We'll put it in the sideboard for now. Alright. Agate Blade Assassin is fine. I could take Roughshod Duo. Currently have 5 4-drops or higher. I mean, I kind of want to cut a Frilled Spark Shooter or 2. Giving Trample is pretty good. I think I take the Roughshod Duo here. Okay. Gossip's Talent is pretty good, but we're not in blue. Mindful Assailant, you pretty much want to be able to enable Threshold quickly, so otherwise it's pretty mediocre. Treeguard Duo is great. Another Frilled Spark Shooter doesn't seem very exciting. Starscape Cleric, I guess I should have taken the Agate Blade Assassin to go with that. I think it's the pick here. For us, it's an evasive threat. We're not really going to trigger its ability. But I think it's still the best card. And then I'll take the clunky removal over another frilled spark shooter. We could have all of the frilled spark shooters. Alright, Quake Tusk Boar is nice top end. Cindering Cutthroat is fine. A 3-mana 4/3 is pretty good. But I think Quake Tusk Boar is enough better. Alright. Bone Cache Overseer. I don't have any ways of foraging, so I don't have ways of sacrificing food or getting cards to leave my graveyard, and I don't have any food production. Stargaze is fine to refuel your hand, but I think I like Ravine Raider here. I already have Hoarder's Overflow for card advantage if I really want it. Another Ravine Raider. So now I wish I'd taken the Stargaze, whatever it's called. Daggerfang Duo is fine. Alright, well, I'll take another Frilled Spark Shooter over Starlit Soothsayer. Sunchar Druid, if we were in blue-green, would be fine. And another Frilled Spark Shooter. Okay. Zoraline would be great with Starscape Cleric, but I don't have any ways of splashing it. So I think we just take another Thought Stalker Warlock here. Alright, and then Persistent Marshstalker. There's another Galewind Moose. I only have one other rat, but it's a 2-drop creature, and my other option is either Frilled Spark Shooter or 3-Tree Mascot, so I think it's a pretty clear Persistent Marshstalker. And then Downwind Ambusher is pretty strong. Reptilian Recruiter could be a good finisher, because if I've got another lizard, and I have 11 so far, we'll see how many we end up in the final build. I think Downwind Ambusher is enough better. This is tough. There's a Quake Tusk Boar, Scales of Shale, and Take Out the Trash. Let's take a look at our curve. I do have a fair number of 4 and 5 drops. I mean, I might be cutting some Frilled Spark Shooters, one or both of these clunky spells. With all our lizards, maybe it's Scales of Shale? I think so. Passing on a Take Out the Trash and other Quake Tusk Boar is a little sad, but I think Scales of Shale is good enough here. Okay. I have one mouse for Might of the Meek, so it's not looking great, but Wildfire Howl is not really what we want to be doing, because a lot of our creatures die to it. I think we'll take it. It's in our colors, and it boosts our vault progress. I think I like another Steam Path Charger here. Shoreline Looter is one of the few reasons to go into blue, but of course we're pretty far from blue now. Alright, we've got all the Ravine Raiders. Agate Assault is fine. I think I like another Whisker Quill Scribe over Ruthless Negotiation. Take a Mindful Assailant to the sideboard. There's a Reptilian Recruiter. Doesn't matter what I take here. Okay. So we ended up in black-red lizards. And we have 14 lizards. 24 creatures, so we can cut a fair number of those. If we want to be aggressive, so you want somewhere between 15 to 17 creatures, I think I like 17, maybe 18. So I think we cut Wildfire Howl, and then one or maybe both who conduct electricity or early winter. Early winter could be good against the talents, all those class enchantments, because those are all mostly pretty strong, and we otherwise don't have any way of interacting with them. So maybe we keep early winter and our other removal. So I only have one other rat, the Daggerfang duo, to go with Persistent Marshstalker. So we could cut the Marshstalker, although it is an aggressive stat line. I think I do cut the Whisker Quill Scribes. I do have a couple ways of triggering Valiant, but they're my weakest 2-drop. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-drops. I don't think we want to go lower than that in an aggressive deck like this. We'll cut at least one Ravine Raider. We'll cut 2 Frilled Spark Shooters. And I need to make 2 more cuts. I think with this number of 4 and 5s, we want to stick to 17 lands. I could cut 1 more Ravine Raider, 1 more Frilled Spark Shooter. That would leave me with 9 lizards. I think that should be fine, so that's what we'll do here. Alright, so this will be our deck. So we just have to add lands back in and get into the gameplay. Alright. On the play, 4 lands, and the hand's a little slow, but Agate Assault can answer the opponent's 2-drop if they have one. Downwind Ambusher, obviously better if you have creatures that can make blocks for attacks to possibly destroy a creature that was dealt damage. But it can always get rid of a 1/1 token. I think I'm going to keep this. I don't really like going down to 6 on the play, and there's a good chance we'll draw a 1 or 2 drop. We've got 7. So just better than 1 in 5 chance of drawing one of them. Off and pass. Opponent leads with plains. Unfortunately, we draw another land. No turn 1 play at least. Opponent black-white. Plays short bow. There's Steam Path Charger. And I like the idea of casting Steam Path Charger with Offspring. So I think we'll play Agate Assault and destroy the shortbow here, because shortbow is going to make it hard for all of my small lizards to attack. So that's the useful thing about Agate Assault, is that it can interact with artifacts, like the shortbow. Opponent plays Strike Force. That does have Vigilance. Now Rabid Gnaw does give +1 power, so we can use that with Steam Path Charger. So I'm pretty happy about getting rid of the short bow, because that with Shrike Force is pretty obnoxious. Another land. So we're flooding out a bit here. Alright. So, opponent could have a 1-mana trick. But I think we have to Rabid Gnaw now. Opponent does not have a trick. We get in 4. Alright, I don't mind seeing Banishing Light on my 2-drop. Humbleflower Sharepot. Draw another land. So hopefully opponent doesn't have any way of making more tokens, because otherwise they can turn Tangle Tumbler into a creature. At least opponent's also been flooding out a bit. Alright, don't mind seeing that. I could flash in Downwind Ambusher to use my mana. It's a little sad if it doesn't have an effect, but doing nothing doesn't seem very good either. Opponent timing out. Maybe they've disconnected? They must have something else they can do if it didn't go straight to their end step. Yeah, this is unfortunate. If opponent times out, then... well, I guess a free win is better than nothing. So I think I will flash Downwind Ambusher in end of turn here. Even if I'm not doing anything with it. And we draw another land. Opponents takes 5. Alright, opponent seems to be back in it. Plays land. Alright. Tusk Burster Swarm. Which we can exile with Early Winter. I could also exile Banishing Light, but obviously the Swarm is preventing me from attacking, so we'll get rid of that. So drawing early winter was pretty good there. Now, any of our other removal spells would have been able to deal with the swarm as well. So opponent could activate Bumbleflower's Share Pot. Alright, you can take my land. There's Life Creed Duo. Opponent's down to 4. Plays Agate Blade Assassin. Opponent goes up to 5. There goes down with an Ambusher. The infamous Cruel Claw. Alright, so now lands are actually useful draws. Opponent draws land. That's +1/+1 counter on Life Creed Duo. I'm a little surprised they attacked. Alright, and then Reptilian Recruiter. I've got another lizard. I guess we just take their blocker and kill them. Alright. Well, we flooded out there, but fortunately we drew action just in time. On we go. On the draw, only swamps in hand. I do have Thoughtstalker Warlock. Obviously it's better if I can enable its ability to choose what to discard. Quake Tusk Boar, Rabid Gnaw. I could go down to 6, because we have the extra draw step. I think I do. Alright, only 2 lands, but I think we keep this. I don't want to go down to 5. And then I think we'll send the Spark Shooter to the bottom. Opponent leads with Hidden Grotto. Alright, we draw a Starscape Cleric. So that gives us a turn 2 play. Opponent has Forest, Tender Wild Guide. There's land 3. And then I think we play the Cleric without waiting until we can play it for Offspring, because we don't really need the extra token for its ability. So hopefully opponent doesn't have removal for Cleric and we can play Thoughtstalker Warlock. Opponent plays Bellwing Crier. Tender Wild Guide attacks. Draw land, that's fine. And now we are going to get opponent with Thoughtstalker Warlock. Alright. Well, I think it's Season of Weaving. I don't really care that much about Finch Formation or Bellowing Crier. Opponent attacks with Bellowing Crier, we'll take it. Ramps out Head of the Homestead. Blotstalker Warlock just gets blocked by the 2/1/1, so I don't think we attack with that. I think I should probably get rid of Wild Guide. And do I give opponent a food? I don't think I do. Alright, I'll trade the Warlock for Head of the Homestead here. The infamous Cruel Claw. Is actually a better blocker than Daggerfang Duo because it holds off Bellowing Crier. And with the buff to power from Rabid Gnaw, I can take out the Bramble Guard veteran. And I don't think we mill 2 cards when we play Daggerfang Duo. Opponent plays another Bellowing Crier. Opponent stays back. Alright, Reptilian Recruiter. Cruel Claw, I should say, just trades for a token and a Bellowing Crier. And then I won't mill 2 cards here, because we don't have threshold synergies. Opponent hits their 5th land. plays Finch formation, which they can't offspring. So the flying Bellowing Crier gets in. There's Fell. I think I take one of the Bellowing Criers here. Alright, I actually don't mind that, because otherwise they would have had it for my Fell. One falls to 10. Teapot Slinger, eh? Now, Reptilian Recruiter does trade for a Bellowing Crier, but with Trample, I don't mind making that trade. We trample over for 3. And Teapot Slinger gives us some reach. I'd probably put it on Finch formation. Fireglass Mentor, okay. So I could take out Finch formation so I can get in with the Starscape Cleric, or take out Hive Spine Wolverine, attack with Teapot Slinger and the infamous Cruel Claw. And then we do play Fireglass Mentor. Alright, and that's enough for a concession. And I think... Let's see here. Wait to rank up. So yeah, so we could have attacked with Starscape Cleric. His opponent had to block... Well, they basically were dead because they could only block one of my creatures, because Teapot Slinger and Cruel Claw had Menace. So they could have blocked Starscape Cleric and then died to my Menace creatures, or blocked one of the Menace creatures and died to my other two. So we definitely had lethal. And much different game from last one. We only drew 5 lands, and that was just fine. Alright, on we go. On the draw again. I have only mountains, but only one black spell, and it's early winter, and I don't need swamp until land 5. And then we finally have a 2-drop in our opening hand. So I think we keep this. Sadly, don't have Swamp Ravine Raider to enable Flame Cache Gecko. And then Flame Cache Gecko will be good if we flood out. Or need to hit land 4. Anyway, I think we keep this. And then I think it's Teapot Slinger first, and then Frilled Spark Shooter to trigger Teapot Slinger, which triggers the Spark Shooter. And we draw Swamp. Opponent leads with Swamp. Opponent's blue-black plays Bellowing Crier. Discards Husk Burster Swarm. And then I think I do trade the Gecko if opponent doesn't remove it. The ability is useful. I mean, I do have Teapot Slinger to hold off Bellowing Crier. Alright, opponent plays Mind Whisker. So now I think I have to take the 2 from Bellowing Crier. I could also destroy Mind Whisker with Nocturnal Hunger and block here. Not Stalker Warlock. Also good to play after Teapot Slinger. And then I think we just destroy the Mind Whisker while opponent's tapped out here. I won't give them food. Plays Tide Color Mentor. Land 5 is fine. It's got Menace. Its ability is on enter, so now it's a 3/3 Menace. Opponent hits their land 4. Hopefully they don't have removal for the Teapot Slinger, so we can trigger it with Frilled Spark Shooter. Place Sinister Monolith. Does not attack with the Tide Color Mentor, which is interesting. So I could Offspring Starscape Cleric. Sinister Monolith is an artifact, so I can't exile it with Early Winter. Alright, what do we got here? Opponent has their own Starscape Cleric, which is good with the Monolith. But I think I take the Nocturnal Hunger here. Oh, so long Spark Shooter. So we can exile that with Early Winter. I hate discard. I hope they level it up. They do, perfect. And then they might as well attack with the Tidecaller Mentor because they can't block. Okay, we fall to 16. Opponent does not attack. Scales of Shale. Opponent takes 2 from Teapot Slinger. Falls to 8. And then Scales of Shale is going to be pretty useful. Alright, opponent plays Wick. I'm a little surprised they didn't Offspring Starscape Cleric here. Alright, Rabid Gnaw. That was a great draw. So we'll get Wick out of the way. Alright, and then we get to blow out opponent with Scales of Shale. Opponent falls to 3. And falls to 2, because we had lifelink on Teapot Slinger, so we trigger Starscape Cleric. And Starscape Cleric can't block. And that's enough for opponent. Alright. So we definitely lucked out with the cards we drew. And Scales of Shale, showing why it's so good. On we go. On the draw, we keep opening with mono land hands. So all swamps. We do have a Nocturnal Hunger, but we also have 3 red spells. Although we only need to draw 1 mountain to cast Agate Assault or Roughshod Duo. And we are in the draw, so we get an extra draw step. There are 8 mountains in the deck, so that's a roughly 1 in 4 chance of drawing one. I think I like those odds enough to keep this, and since we do have Nocturnal Hunger, I do have some early interaction. Opponent leads, we draw another swamp, unfortunately. Probably our worst draw. Opponent leads with Rockface Village, no turn 1 play. And there's Mountain. Alright, so drawing 2 lands in a row, a bit of a bummer, but at least we hit our red source. Opponent leads with Kindle Spark Duo. And I think we play Roughshod Duo and then Offspring Steam Path Charger next turn. That will also trigger Expend on Roughshod Duo, so it'll become a 4/3 with Trample. Never mind, opponent has removal for the Roughshod Duo. And they forget to activate Kindle Spark. They should have activated it there. Alright, so we've got plenty of removal. But the most efficient play is Offspring Steam Path Charger here. Yeah, because they could have pinged me with Kindle Spark Duo, cast Agate Assault, and then attacked. One plays Veteran Guard Mouse. So sadly can't cast Quake Tusk Board here. And then do I fell Kindle Spark Duo? That would be the most efficient, but I think we hold off in case opponent plays a bigger threat. I might take out the Kindle Spark Duo with Rabid Gnaw on Steam Path Charger. Opponent attacks, so they might have some way of untapping the Kindle Spark Duo. Plays Frilled Sharp Spark Shooter. We'll destroy that with Fell. Attack for 3. And then I think I like holding up my instant speed removal over playing Ravine Raider. Oh, it's land 6. Taps out for another veteran guard mouse. Well, not quite taps out. So they do have 1 white mana for non-creature spells. And they should have left a mountain untapped, because now they can't activate Rockface Village to give the guard mouse haste and trigger its Valiant ability. Unless, of course, they're holding up an instant. So I think we'll try and take out guard mouse here. We do. Oops, I didn't mean to give opponent a food. I wasn't paying attention. Alright. There's second mountain for Quake Tusk 4, so we'll get that down. So that'll help make up for giving opponent a food. Which opponent immediately eats. Falls to 9. Alright. Let's see. Don't quite have enough to activate Ravine Raider and then play Daggerfang Duo, hold up Rabid Gnaw. I could have tried to use Rabid Gnaw to remove Kindle Spark Duo and get in for lethal. Opponent chumps. That's a little suspicious. So I think we'll leave Daggerfang Duo in hand. And that's enough for opponent. Alright. So I guess they didn't have anything, and I probably could have tried to go for lethal with Rabid Gnaw. Anyway, on we go. On the play, Ravine Raider into Fireglass Mentor is a nice curve. I have to remember to play Fireglass Mentor first main. Although I don't know if I want to trigger it turn 2, because I won't be able to play what I exile off it. And then if we hit our land drops, we're curving 1, 2, 3, 4. Depending, of course, what we hit off Fireglass Mentor. So I think we can keep this. Only 2 lands, but Fireglass Mentor will also help us to hit our land drops. Opponent leads with Lily Pad Village. There's land 3. So, yes, if I play Fireglass Mentor and trigger it, then I'm just exiling 2 cards for nothing, so I think we'll wait until next turn. Opponent plays Life Creed Duo. Alright, so we hit 2 lands. Take Mountain. And then Cruel Claw has Menace. Oh yes, and with effects like Fireglass Mentor in hand, it's important not to play your land until after you trigger the Mentor. And hit their 3rd land. So they still don't have blue for non-creature spells. Opponent copies Cruel Claw. Quick Tusk Boar. I'm not sure why they attacked, because now I can get in with my Cruel Claw and Ravine Raider. Do I want to discard a card to play Steampath Charger? Not really. And then I think I'd rather hit my land drop. We'll play Frilled Sparkshooter. Now we can't block opponent's Cruel Claw. Opponent attacks, hits us for 3. Exile Sky Skipper Duo. That would be worth discarding a card to play, because they're netting a 1 mana advantage. So they cast it. Discards another Sky Skipper Duo. Plays Bloomburrow Mentor. Alright. My opponent has gained a lot of life off Life Creed Duo. Not sure why they flickered Mockingbird. Alright, so if I play Quake Tusk Boar and attack with it, opponent can double block with the Sky Skipper Duo and Blue Green Mentor, and I only lose I can only kill one creature. Might still be worth it, because that means they don't have blocks for Cruel Claw or Frilled Spark Shooter. Although I might want to keep Spark Shooter back as a blocker. I think we do want to play Quick Tusk Boar rather than see what we exile off Fireglass Mentor here. I'd almost rather take out Life Creed Duo. Alright, so that actually wasn't that bad, because now they don't have a blocker for Quick Tusk Boar. Opponent's down to 13. So, unfortunately, haven't made use of Cruel Claw's ability, but I think getting rid of opponent's 3/3 was still pretty good. Alright, Nocturnal Hunger. So I can activate Ravine Raider. And then opponent has to double block. They could double block Bloomcreed Mentor Mockingbird, and that would be pretty bad. Although I can also Nocturnal Hunger to blow out double blocks. And then I think Frilled Spark Shooter stays back. Yes, we would have flooded out except for Fireglass Mentor here. Alright. One falls to 9. I'm tapped out, so we'll take Swamp. Now, the downside, of course, is that we don't have a nice big juicy target for a Reptilian Recruiter. And we've got some lizards, so we can steal any size creature. Opponent attacks. Could have the board wipe. Opponent does not. Okay, well, I'm not sure what that attack was for, if they weren't going to wipe the board with Starfall Invocation. I was sure they had it if that was what they were doing. But, anyway, not sure what that was all about, but we'll take it. On we go. On the draw, I think we can keep this. Roughshod Duo goes well with Quick, Tusk Boar, and Ambusher. Although, of course, Ambusher, you're not necessarily main phasing that to make optimal use of Roughshod Duo's expendability. And then we'll try this. I've got 3 lands, both colors. I don't need double black for any of my spells. Opponent leads with mountain. We draw land. Land 4 is useful. No turn 1 play from opponent. No turn 2 play. There's Scales of Shale. No lizards to discount it right now. Opponent red-green. Ravine Raider, a little late to the party here. Alright, that's a bit of a problem. I think what we'll do is we'll flash in Ambusher to take out the Manifold Mouse before the beginning of opponent's combat. And that also will pump up Roughshod Duo. Alright, land 5. So I can play Ravine Raider and still be able to play Scales of Shale because I'll have the discount and Rabid Gnaw. Alright, opponent takes it. Falls to 13. And that's enough for opponent. Not sure why they thought they were so far behind. I thought they could still be fine. They had plenty of action, I assumed, in hand, but anyway, I'm not going to complain. We'll take it. On we go. On the draw, we've got some interaction, some decent threats. So unless we draw an 1-drop or 2-drop, I think we lead with Cruel Claw, because then we can enable Thoughtstalker Warlock and Frilled Spark Shooter. And we've got both colors, so I think we keep this. I should also mention that we are currently 6-0. Opponent leads with Mountain. Plays Heartfire Hero. That could be a problem. Downwind Ambusher. Probably would have preferred a land there. And then Agate Assault is a good way to answer Heartfire Hero. Steam Path Charger. We'll play it here as a blocker. And then Cruel Claw as a 3/3 for 3. That's actually a pretty decent stat line. Alright, and they obviously made very sure to be able to equip so no blocks. I was going to say that we're 6-0. So I could Agate Assault the Heartfire Hero. I think we play Cruel Claw here, and then next turn we can get rid of Brazen Collector with Downwind Ambusher. So we are 6-0, so we've got 3 cracks at win number 7. Not sure how this one's going to go. Agate Assault can also get rid of the token sword for what it's worth. Opponent keeps having ways of triggering Heartfire Hero. No blocks. Roughshod Duo. Getting another blocker down seems like a good idea. We also got 4 lands out of the way, so we would have definitely flooded there. Alright. So now we have to Nocturnal Hunger Fire Hero. But in that case, we're better off. Okay, so opponent. So I can only. I might want to consider using Agate Assault to get rid of the sword, because they can level up Blacksmith's talent to level 4. I think what we do is hold up Nocturnal Hunger. And we will have to give, okay, so opponent, we will have to give opponent a food because our life total is pretty low. And we'll have opponents. Let's get rid of that sword. And then I think I will fell Harvest Right Host. And we're doing 8, 13. Yeah, sure. All right. Okay, that's a good sign. Opponent cracks their food. Plays Dewdrop Cure. Rabid Gnaw was an excellent draw. And that'll do it. 7-0. I wasn't sure about this one, but we drew just the right cards at just the right time. Okay. Let's take a quick look at the deck. So one filled Spark Shooter seemed like the right number. It was pretty good that one game when it was holding off opponents' flyers. The infamous Cruel Claw, we did get to use its ability a couple of times that last game, and it was pretty useful. getting extra creatures on the board when we needed them. Fireglass Mentor, we only had that one game, but it was pretty good, drawing us lots of extra cards. One Ravine Raider, I think, was the right number, and it was a good role player. Flame Cash Gecko, we never triggered its ability, and I think we only had it that one game, and we either blocked with it or it got removed by removal. Starscape Cleric, obviously its ability didn't come up very much, but it was good as a flying attacker. We never drew Persistent Marstalker. Our removal was good. Early Winter came in useful to exile an enchantment as well as a big creature. Agate Assault a couple of times, got rid of an artifact, which was important. Teapot Slinger was pretty good, although I think we only had it once or twice. Thoughtstalker Warlock was good the one time we played it, and our removal was good. Scales of Shale was good. So yeah, we definitely lucked out with having some good quality cards in our deck, and that'll help us get to a 7-0 run. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. If you'd like to see some other limited content, let me know in the comments, or if you thought I should have made any different picks or plays. Do please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.